Hey guys, Coach Jason, hope you're doing well. So a while back I did a video on hill running and types of workouts and some variety and so on and so forth. And I started to mention something called momentum hills, which is something I've utilized for my athletes, for a lot of athletes over the last 2 decades as a coach. I wanted to go into a little bit more detail and elaborate today because I feel that they can be really, really beneficial. Hill running, as you know, is a very important part of not only speed development, but developing leg power and great way of simulating courses, especially if you're running road races and cross-country races where it's not flat, it's rolling. So you've got to add that element into your training. Momentum hills gives you another dynamic. And what I mean by that is not only is it, just it's great to run hill repeats, whether it's short, steep ones or long, gradual ones, but what about the part before and after it? Okay, and what I mean by that is accelerating into that uphill is a component of a momentum hill. Okay, and then after you crest it, accelerating afterward is another component that I incorporate into my hill repeats. Okay, and I'm going to give you a couple ideas. Let's go for 100 meters first. Okay, I'm going to give you 2 ideas. Okay, I'm going to break it in 2 pieces. 50 meters up into 50 meters flat. Okay, what does that do? You're accelerating up the hill. Okay, and you're running it hard like you would a hill repeat in practice. But afterward, you're cresting the hill and accelerating afterward. Okay, teaching your body how to recover quickly over the hill and keep running fast without needing a certain period of time to kind of regain your footing and stuff, because a lot of times it's difficult to recover up a hill, especially long and steep ones. Okay, this gives you practice on how to recover well over a hill. On the flip side, 50 meters accelerating into 50 meters in the hill teaches you how to accelerate going into the uphill. These types of things are where you can gain a lot of ground or lose a lot of ground in races. So I like to throw these elements in there in workouts particularly because there's something that, it adds a variety to just a straight hill repeat. And I found a lot of success. I've had a lot of my athletes catch people off guard in road races or cross-country races where, they'd start accelerating early, or they'd crest up the hill where everybody's like, oh my God, how did you do that? And they kept going. It's one of those things. So it's a really, really great component of training. Okay, let's talk about 150 meter efforts now. A whole bunch of different ways you can do it. Okay, I'll give you a couple options. 50 meters up into 50 meters flat into 50 meters up. This is like running a course where you have an uphill and then you crest it and then you turn around. You're like, oh my God, I have another hill now. This is a great way of simulating that. Okay, going up and then leveling off, accelerating into the next uphill. Okay, and the recoveries are you're just going to jog back down nice and easy, go right back up and repeat and repeat and repeat. This is something that you add volume over time. It could be a fantastic workout, either on its own or a couple efforts after a tempo run or some threshold intervals or something like that. You can incorporate any way you want. Okay, so that's one option. Let's go to the other option now. 50 meters flat into 50 meters up into 50 meters flat. Okay, accelerating into that uphill and then accelerating as soon as you get over it. This is a great way of simulating that part. Okay, a lot of times this is the only thing that's practiced. Not this, not that. That's why I like to add them. Okay, that's another one. Okay, so 50 flat, 50 up, 50 flat. Here's 2 other ones. 50 flat into 50 flat into a 100 meter uphill, accelerating into a longer hill because there are going to be races where the hill's longer. Okay. This is a great way of doing it, okay? And on the flip side, 50 meters up into 100 meters flat, okay? A longer acceleration after the uphill. Now you can do it the other way around too. You could do a 100-meter acceleration into a 50-meter uphill, or a 100-meter uphill into a 50-meter acceleration. Okay, that gives you a variety of 150-meter efforts. Okay, I like the 100 and I like the 150. You can go longer. You can do 200s as well, 100 meters into 100, or 100 into 100, or any way you like to do it. Okay, those are options as well. But I like the 100 and 150 because you can really, really run them fast. They're great components of speed development, leg power. Okay, what I like about it too is it helps you transition into longer things. I call them momentum repeats. I like to use 800s, 1,000-meter repeats, 1,200-meter repeats, mile repeats, and 2 kilometers. Okay, you're training for 5Ks, cross country, 10Ks, half marathons, and so on. They're great ways you can simulate it too. Think about this: if you run a race where and I do encourage you, if you're going to run a race, to try to have an idea what the course looks like if you can, if it's available, and try to stimulate training based on the races that you want to run, particularly if you already know the races you're going to run in a season, and if you run a course multiple times. This is a great way of designing workouts, okay? So let's say an 800-meter repeat, okay? And I'll give you a couple different options. The hill's in the beginning, so you can do a 200 or 400-meter straight up effort into a 200 or 400-meter or a 400 or 600-meter flat. Okay, this simulates starting in the hills and then accelerating in the flats. If it's in the middle, do a 200-meter effort and then a 400-meter uphill and then a 200-meter effort, or maybe a 300-meter flat into a 200 uphill into a 300-meter flat. That really depends on what the course layout is. But this gives you an opportunity to rep to repeats where the hill's in the beginning or the hill's in the middle. Going at the end, same thing. If it's an 800, you can do 400 meters flat into 400 meters uphill, 600 meters flat into 200 meters uphill, however you like to do it. But this gives you opportunities to do repeats and kind of do the same exact thing and give you practice. I've done a whole bunch of repeats where the hill's in the start. I've done a whole bunch of repeats where they're in the middle, a whole bunch of repeats where the hill's at the end. And you can do the same thing with 1,000 meter, 1,200 meter, mile repeats, 2 kilometer repeats. It's a great way of mixing up your training, but being able to simulate things. Okay, that's what I like, and being able to do. And I honestly, I mean, when I was in high school or college, rarely did I do a workout where there wasn't an added component, unless it was a rolling 800 meter or just hill repeats like that. I didn't really do anything where the focus was the hills in the beginning, the hills in the middle, hills at the end. I encourage you to think about it now. Do you do a lot of training like that? And do you run races that are going to be like that? This is a great way of breaking down and adding some variety to your workouts, okay? And those repeats, there's generally the 800s up to the 2 kilometers. I'd say about anywhere between 2 to 3 minute rest periods in between. Depending on how fit you are, how experienced you are, and so on. Okay, it's going to be race pace or close to race pace as possible. Okay, where it differs from threshold or tempo running, where you kind of hold a sustained pace for a longer period of time. And any threshold or tempo running should be done mostly on the flats, so you can stay within the pace range. This gives you an opportunity to mix things up and really, really see your progress over time and really, really run parts of it really hard. So, and it's not like you're running the 800 meters the same pace as the 2 kilometers, because the 2 kilometers you're generally training for longer races, but the shorter the repeat here, the faster the pace is, and so on. That's where it differs from tempo and threshold, where the pace remains, but the distance just gets longer. Okay? So anyway, I hope this was helpful. If you found it beneficial, hit that thumbs up. Okay? And if you're a coach or an athlete, you just want to have look at some great videos and learn a whole bunch and see detailed programs, fully detailed from 5K all the way up to the marathon, make sure you hit that subscribe button and take a look at the videos that I have. You're not going to want to miss the videos that I'm going to be putting out moving forward, so hit that notification next to it as well. If you have a request or have any feedback of your own, put them in the comments. I welcome all dialogue. I learn from you guys and gals just as much as you'll learn from me. I am a USATF certified coach. My credentials in my profile on the YouTube channel. I'm also a Wharton certified musculoskeletal and flexibility therapist. So I'm not only interested in helping you run fast, but I'm interested in keeping you healthy while you do it. Okay, and I say this repeatedly because it's an important theme and it's a consistent part of my philosophy. With that said, be safe out there, look out for each other, and I'll talk to you next time.